Hello again everyone, and welcome to the second and final video taking an in-depth look at my current model train collection built up over the last 2.5 years. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet, my loose runners and boxed Hornbys, link is both above and in the video description. In rounding off this two-parter, I'm now going to show you my other branded model trains, starting with my single loose Bachmann engine. Thomas. Well, who else were you expecting? As presented in his familiar TV form, this one is the analogue sound version with modified paint details, a matte finish to protect his decals, and an attached front coupling bar for shunting. This Thomas has often been taken to events, and some of the layout operators and visitors are quite taken aback with his fitted sound feature considering it's not even DCC chipped, although his and Percy's DCC variants have only just been released overseas. This Thomas can be imported to the UK if purchased on the Tootley Thomas site, but don't expect him to come cheap. The diesel works days are very much over in today's economy. Now moving on to my remaining boxed models, and here is my only boxed Airfix loco, Pendennis Castle, currently preserved at the Didcot Railway Centre. This version is tender driven and was sold to me by my friend Kev. She also has her crew. Airfix was one of the first in the model railway circle to incorporate high details to 00 scale models, and Palitoy's mainline railways would soon follow with similar examples. The majority of this next array is that very name. Mainline is often to be found on the second-hand market cheap, and despite the usual drawbacks of split chassis, cracked plastic axles and the occasional Mazak rot and weak motors, depending on the condition of the loco found, they can be ideal starters or display models. Starting small, this is an early LNER J72 or NER Class E1 in early BR black. Found at Chesterfield's WD Models, one of her cab steps is a 3D printed replacement. Only one of this class survives in preservation. This is the first of two 57XX pannier tanks I own. This one is in the all-familiar early Great Western green. She was found loose at one of the recent Doncaster toy fairs, but after almost losing her water tank handle detail, she now has a matching box. You can also spot two lamps on her, in the Express General Goods code. Currently I'm planning some lamp add-ons to some of my collection throughout this year. This was my first mainline model, and a purchase from the club, an LMS Jubilee named Neptune. Like the J72, this one has replacement 3D printed cab steps thanks to one that remained intact. I would love to give this one a steam sound feature if another working soundboard can be found. Here we have what may be regarded as the last steam loco class produced by Mainline prior to Palitoy discontinuing the range, a 2P. Although Mainline did not publish a catalogue in 1984, this model was confirmed as one of the new releases in the toy price list of that year. Additionally, Class 4F locomotives were mentioned, having been previously released by Airfix, as were the N2s, 6100s and unproduced 1400s, but they too were never produced. If anything, Mainline's 2Ps are considered rare as they were later released by Dapol, some of them still having Mainline's name embedded underneath. This example was DCC fitted and renumbered, and despite bringing her all the way back from Cleethorpes, she did at one point belong to one of our own club members. Small world, isn't it? Here is another brought home from last year's Cleethorpes Toy Fair, a Manor Class 460 Earlstoke Manor in early BR black, complete with her own crew. Sticking with early BR black, another former Western, a 2251 Colic class. A little known fact, Mainline released a steam sound with whistle variant of this class, but was only available with a freight train set released in 1981. Here is my only mogul in GWR green. I had found one originally at a Pontefract antique shop, although unbeknownst to me at the time, she had a mismatched tender that came from a green manor. As her motor had stopped working and her axles were cracked, it was swiftly returned. It was a while yet before one was found almost new, which is this one, complete with her whistle intact. The first thing that is often overlooked to be noticed missing when purchased second hand. And it would also be the same case with this early BR black standard class 4. One was found at a Wakefield exhibition stall, but again, it was returned when I discovered it had signs of Mazak rot on most of its wheels. An almost new replacement was found in Leeds a few weeks later, and I recently modded its tender wheels, replacing them with Bachmann versions. I never really liked those cheap plastic ones. Here is the first of two mainline made diesels, the Class 45 Manchester Regiment in BR Blue. At one point our club had one, but has since died of its old motor. This one was found, again almost unused. It's been modded with paint detail enhancement and metal fitted nameplates. The next selection are models fitted with electronic steam sound, starting with my favourite among all my mainlines, the Royal Scot in LMS Crimson. In addition to her steam sound tender, she comes complete with her attached bell and crew. Here is another release with steam sound, the rebuilt Patriot Private W. Wood VC. Sir Robert Turnbull is so far my only mainline loco modified with steam sound. A loose soundboard with contacts was found in a box of scraps at the Midland Railway Centre, so I added it to this loco, and I'm pretty sure some of you may no doubt be comparing this livery right now to Henry the Green engine. This late BR Green Jubilee Orion is my only steam sound model with the inclusion of an additional whistle sound, much to the relief of some of our club members. Whereas previous steam sound locos had their tender soundboard powered from a 9-volt battery, this one takes its power from the loco itself when drawn from the track. A trigger button underneath the tender sets the whistle off when going over a ramp. The same function was also added to two diesel classes. Wrapping up my mainline collection, this BR Green Warship High Flyer is my only variant fitted with electronic diesel sound, with a growling engine and two-tone klaxon horn, although the sound only now works when going forward. When purchased, she was later given new 3D printed drive gears as her old ones had cracked. The Class 45s were also given diesel sound features, but like the Collets, they were only available with train sets. It was catalogued that separate sound modules were made available for people to modify their own mainline locomotives depending on the class, but I haven't seen one for myself yet. Heck, they may not have been released at all. After Palitoy ended mainline, most of their toolings went over to Dapol, Replica Railways, Hornby, etc. But, introduced in 1990, Bachmann Europe's branch line range, if anything, was Mainline Mark II. And despite most of their models continued to utilise split chassis blocks, it was out with ring-field motors and in with the then new super smooth flywheel gear drive motors. This is my earliest example found at Chesterfield Market and my current favourite, a 262 Ivert tank engine in late BR line black. My second pannier, and again in late BR black, her water tank detail isn't as fragile as the previous mainline one shown. The same cannot be said for this one. A cash generator find, a large BR standard class 4MT. Seriously, the detail on this one is brilliant, even down to the opening smokebox door, but these models were made to stay out of their boxes. If the essential details are attached, you may ultimately be prizing them back in the box. This is my only up-to-date Bachmann release. Another cash generator find, an early BR weathered N-class. A nice runner, though her chassis needed some TLC to run smoothly, although she unfortunately has signs of glue repair on her whistle. Even placed upside down in a foam tray for maintenance, it's irritating when small details pop off. My second Class 37 and my one example for club fine scale running, presented in late BR Green, Ben Cruaken, has all her details attached, although her nose lamp irons were a pain to add on. Included are her metal nameplates and working directional lights. Finishing off my Bachmann lot is my remaining A4, and a familiar favourite, Sir Nigel Gresley, named after one of Britain's most famous engineers who rose to become Chief Mechanical Engineer of the LNER. Here are my only two boxed Dapol models, found both at Chesterfield Market. The first is this Austerity J94 in early BR black. Although she's an okay runner, her motor is noisy and she struggles to go over points. Crawling with this one isn't easy. And here is my remaining, though first found, Great Western County class, County of Worcester, and boy did I take a dislike to this class after a while. She worked fine at first before both cracked gears and axles led her to being shelved aside for 7 months before a replacement working chassis could be found. I wanted to give her a Hornby-made chassis replacement that was compatible, but the only one I could find was way out of my price range. Even the new county model I purchased later, mentioned in my last video, didn't go without problems. I dread to come across a third one later this year. This model was eventually fixed with a risky purchase of a second-hand chassis that was listed as non-running, which I thought I had to cannibalise. But she ended up working perfectly once she was cleaned, deoxidised and derusted. Despite some underframe detail loss, she's fixed up. For now. The final three are single examples from various manufacturers. This is my only boxed Lemur, a Class 31 in rail freight coal sector livery found at cash converters in Wakefield on the day a fire broke out at a takeout restaurant in the city centre. She's modified with metal cab handrails and tiny enhanced paint details on her cab nose. When I went to York last year, I came away with my first and so far only model made by Rapido Trains, an LNER J70 tram engine, a passed-on British Railways example complete with side plate skirts. This is one of a few exclusives developed for Model Rail magazine. Currently mine has her cab openings closed, though I've yet to add further details to her, and for the record, a face won't be one of them. There is a Bachmann variant for that, although frankly, I don't think anyone will unsee Toby just by looking at this. From a distance you could swear it was a modified Ertl model. And finally, saving the best, if not worst, for last. Probably my best model of a least successful diesel locomotive. It is my only Helgen-made model, a BR Class 28, better known as, say it with me now, this engine is a Metropolitan Vickers diesel electric Type 2. Yes, the very same, although I do wish it was D5702. If you know, you BOCO. As only Hornby 00 and Helgen have been the only companies so far to produce this class in 00, including those for Rails of Sheffield, this was one class I wanted for so long. One preserved example remains, but I think we all know the most famous of this infamous class. And that wraps up my entire model train collection as of now, and with any luck, it may be set to grow further. Until next time, thank you all for watching.